What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000, and we hope you guys can help us get there. Alright, so, this is going to be kind of a little bit sad to say, but when I first saw the first official photos from the House of the Dragon, I'll admit, I thought it was a joke. I really did. It took about 3 articles for me to come to this realization that what I am seeing is legit. Legit is what we will be seeing in House of the Dragon. And I will admit right off the bat, I am not a fan. I was not a fan of the casting that they did. I felt like they bombed from the very beginning. And now look, I get it. It's not right to look at these characters and be like, I'm not giving it a shot. Simply because of how the character looks. But there is so much that is wrong with these characters, the way that they look, the way that they're portrayed, who portrays them, that is going to be really hard for me to just get involved in this series. I will watch it. Don't get me wrong. I will watch it. But I don't know if I'm going to be that invested in any of these characters. Simply because I'm going to be like, they don't look anything like the book counterpart. Or at least, of course, we've got... it's not like, they're from A Song of Ice and Fire, where that we get, those big descriptions, but we do know what a lot of these characters look like. And me, that's kind of the bad part about it. Is almost kind of wish I didn't, and that I was seeing these characters for the first time. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I know what they look like because George R.R. Martin has described them in various works. So now, we are stuck with the cast that we've got. And I will admit, I'm not that impressed. Not that impressed. It goes on to state, the first photo features the duo of Allison Hightower, who's played by Olivia Cook, and Otto Hightower, Rhys Ifans. And then next is Lord Corlys Velaryon, a.k.a. the Sea Snake, played by Steve Toussaint. And then, of course, the last photo will be Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, played by Emma Darcy, and Prince Daemon Targaryen, Matt Smith. You want to know what this looks like? That a lot of these photos look like. Now, this is the Hightowers. This is what the Hightowers are going to look like. This is Allison Hightower and Otto Hightower. I don't know if I remember Otto Hightower. The name kind of sounds familiar, but I don't know if that's a character that was just created from this, or if this was one that was necessarily in, some of Fire and Blood. But I do know Allison Hightower. Definitely not how I envisioned her. This to me looks like a really bad period piece. Low budget period piece where the actors aren't really that interesting looking. Let's just put it that way. Now, of course, a lot of people are going to be like, well, Valerian, House Valerian, you're changing the race of them, and that's going to be different. No doubt that it's going to be different. I don't personally have a problem with necessarily this, simply because, you know what? In A Song of Ice and Fire, they're not, that's not necessarily a big thing. They could do that. I don't have a problem with that. I have more of a problem with what I'm seeing from the Hightowers, and I have a huge problem with this. That looks like Daenerys Targaryen plus 30 years. that looks like a knockoff of Daenerys Targaryen. These do not look like Targaryens to me. And I actually do have a problem with the way the Targaryens look. Because this is not... And again, if I'm thinking differently than what a lot of y'all are thinking, fine. But you cannot tell me the majority of people look at this picture of the Targaryens and think, wow, that's exactly how I envision them. It just like that blows my mind. Smith, I'm just like blown away. I thought this this was the first picture that I saw, and I thought, nah, that can't be how this is going to look. And then when I realized it, I'm like, this is going to be bad. Like, this is going to be really, really bad. This is going to be a really high budget knockoff of Game of Thrones, and it's going to bomb. I mean, just from the set photos alone, I mean, you might say I'm jumping to conclusions, and you know what? Hey, I probably am. But judging by the way these characters look, there is none of these characters that just stand out that I'm like, oh crap, these look like really interesting people. This looks like a really bad period piece thing that you would see maybe from, like, I don't know, the BBC. Or maybe some low... I don't even want to say the BBC. This looks like something that you would straight out see off of maybe like some kind of low budget film based off of something that is, I don't know, let's say Narnia or Game of Thrones in this regard. Game of Thrones. That's the way this looks. This doesn't look like actors and actresses that you would necessarily expect to find on HBO for a Game of Thrones series. That's personally my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of any of this. I personally, after seeing this, I have little to no hope for this series. Of course, I've been, look, from the very get-go, I was not a fan of the casting. I've made that known from the very beginning. And to me, this just, I said back then, I was like, hey, you know what? They might surprise me. They might look the part. None of them look the part to me. I just keep going through these pictures and thinking, no, definitely no. Definitely no. Like, it's something about this picture that just drives me crazy with this Darcy and I think is her last name, and Smith. Like, they look literally nothing like what I would imagine a Targaryen. Targaryens I thought were supposed to be, and I hate to, look, I'm not shaming anybody in any form or fashion when I'm saying this, and I'm not meaning to, but I thought Targaryens were supposed to be really beautiful people. And I will admit, look, Rhaenyra Targaryen and Daemon Targaryen are just not, they don't look that part, to be honest with you. I'm very disappointed in it. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if I'm just completely out there. I feel like this is just a money grab by HBO and George R. R. Martin in a lot of different ways. I feel like they don't really care if this succeeds or fails. They'll just put it out there and they think fans will just absorb it. I think they're in for a rude awakening. I think when a lot of people see a lot of this, unless they are just epic, and I mean epic in the acting, I don't really see fans being that intrigued by these characters. Of course, I'm not a big Matt Smith fan. Anyways, I think he did a decent job on Doctor Who, but I don't really think he is cut out for Daemon Targaryen. I just don't think that is the right role for him. Of course, I was looking for... I was hoping the guy that played Ragnar off of Vikings would get that part. I think he would have fit Daemon Targaryen a lot better. But this is definitely not how I imagine Rhaenyra Targaryen. Definitely not how I imagine her. This is just, I don't know. This just feels like a really piss poor version of Game of Thrones. That's the way I look at it. Look, You can tell right off the bat just by looking at them that that's bleached. Like there's nothing. You know, you can look at Daenerys Targaryen, and you could be like, oh man, you know that looks like, you know, maybe a real hair color for her. This clearly is not the real hair color for these people. Like, I mean, it looks so fake. It looks like a wig, to be honest with you. I know it's probably not. It's probably, you know, just dyed hair. But, I mean, it just looks bad. Could very well be a wig. Could very well actually be a wig, though. I mean, it just looks bad. It looks like a very poor version of Game of Thrones. I'm definitely, after seeing these photos, I am not really a big fan of what I'm seeing of House of the Dragon. Look, I've complained a lot about this show in the past, even though it hasn't. You know, we've got very little information off of it. I'm like, you know what? In Game of Thrones, they complained about the dragons cost, and then what did they go and do? They created a show that is entirely based off showing dragons. Like, that's where a lot of this is going to go. And so I'm like, look, I kind of feel a little bit cheated in Game of Thrones. That, you know, you were like, well, we've got to cut down on episode costs and all of this, or all this other stuff when it comes to Game of Thrones, because we have these really expensive dragons. And then what do you go and do? The very first spinoff, you're like, oh, we're just adding, like, I don't know, like 5 dragons to the mix. I call BS HBO. I really do on this one. I think right now, you were just looking for a cash cow. You think that fans will just eat this up, and they won't question it. They won't care who's playing it. They won't care whether these characters look anything like they imagined in the books. I mean, you think that they won't care. They will care. They really will care. Unless they do an epic job of acting, I don't see this going past. It's going to get a green lit for season 2, but I don't see this going past season 2. To be honest with you, I think fans are going to be like, nah, we're not watching this. We're not watching this crap. That's the way I look at it. Let me know what y'all think down below. Let me know if y'all are excited. Oh, jeez, every time I see this, I'm just like, no, please, God, no. Just let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think this casting is just way off to the extreme? Or do you think that they got it right? Let me know down below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.